Okay, folks, quick NBA trade video. Blake Griffin is heading to the Pistons. All right. For a bunch of players that, either really don't make that much of a difference. I knew that Tobias Harris is in the trade, but let's be real. It's the NBA, but some players just aren't great. Avery Bradley is involved in this deal, going to the Clippers as well as Tobias Harris. But quick, and I'm going to break this down real quick. The Pistons have been struggling since that Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace team. They haven't really been relevant since, all right? You can debate with me if you want. Detroit basketball has not been relevant since. I'm not saying that Blake is the savior, all right? I'm not saying that. But, Blake's path to a championship, if that's where he's ever going to go, him there with Andre Drummond should be one of the premier front courts in the East immediately. All right. The Pistons' problem is not necessarily, defense necessarily. It's always been offense for the most part since that team that I brought up from a couple years ago. Blake Griffin he's not necessarily a top 10 player in the league anymore for what it's worth. He's on the boundary of being top 15. And some might argue and say that he's in the mid-20s. All right. But I think that pairing him up with Drummond there in Detroit, I think that they've got a chance to definitely make the playoffs in the East. For sure. They should make some type of a run in the East with those two alone. And if they make any more trades before the trade deadline, maybe they go out and they get another shooter because whether you like it or not, Tobias Harris was a large portion of their offense. Let's be honest now. All right, I watch Pistons basketball just like everybody else that does the fantasy thing. But Blake Griffin going to Detroit is, I think it's a breath of fresh air for the Pistons organization. As far as the Clippers go, as far as I'm concerned, the Clippers have been cleaning house ever since the Donald Sterling thing. I mean, they've been. They weren't able to, reach terms with Chris Paul. He's gone. Blake Griffin, he's gone. The scuffle a couple weeks ago, I don't know if that led up to Blake Griffin just kind of being let out of L.A. But, DeAndre Jordan, he's the only one there. I'd expect for him to be moved too. So, Blake Griffin is just another domino for the Clippers. The Clippers had that small window of time, y'all, to win the championship, and they just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it in the West. Let me know how you guys feel about Blake Griffin going to the Pistons. Do you think it's a good move? I think it's okay. I think that they'll be able to make the playoffs, but they have to go out and they have to go get themselves some wing shooters. They gave up their best wing shooters basically for this in this trade. The Clippers are basically hitting the refresh button on everything. Branding, everything. They should hit the refresh button on those jerseys too, because those jerseys aren't really good looking either. Same thing with the Pistons. I mean, they got to update it. Like, they got a new stadium, not a new stadium, but a new arena. Everything's coming together. It's the WC. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.